I'm here with our very own Leslie MacVane.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Leslie. To talk about Leslie's dad, who recently passed away, William Leslie MacVane. And
Junior.
Junior.
He always wrote the whole thing out, even right before he died.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, a legacy. And he's left quite a legacy, hasn't he?
He has. I'm proud to carry his name. I was my parents' firstborn child, and they named me Leslie MacVane. They dropped the William for obvious reasons. And Dad did a lot in this time on Earth.
You were going to say short time, but he passed at the age of 95.
He was 95, and he was very active and involved to the end. The last thing he did publicly was go to the dedication of the new library.
I want to mention the Honorable William MacVane, who is a former mayor, who is here at 95 years old and has served this city well.
And he was on the city council and did the initial digging of for the
Right.
formal
He was
library.
the chair of the building committee for the library back in whatever year that was.
Well, could we go back even further and just give a little bit about his background?
Well, he was born on State Street, 209 State Street, in his parents' home in a big brass bed, and he spent his life in Portland, on the west end of Portland. You know, he lived in various places: State Street, Pine Street, Danforth Street, Storrs Street, back to 75 State Street, and so he that was his world. He went away to Williams College in Williamstown, Massachusetts. He went to Johns Hopkins Medical School in Baltimore, Maryland. He joined the Army and served in the Philippines, and he came back and practiced here. He was also the first surgical resident accepted at Maine General Hospital, and he and Dr. Drake did the first open heart surgery in Maine at Maine General, I believe at the time, in 1959.
Wow.
And I was a student at school, and we got to watch it on television. They had a film crew in there because it was the first, and it was televised, and they had all the students gather around a television set at the school, McClellan School, and we watched it.
Wow, so he went on and then went on to become not only continue as a doctor, but got involved with the city in a big way.
Yes, he was on the city council for 9 years, and you can walk around the city and see his name on brass plaques at the Spring Street parking garage, the library, the civic center, the police department, Monument Square, Free Street Garage, Reiki School, and he was on the building committee, and more often than not, chair of the building committee for many of those projects.
And not to mention that he was married 60 years to your mom.
Yeah.
In between the two of them, they had 3 children. And so he raised a family, became involved in the community,
Right.
and contributed a lot. And for us, he was a very big supporter of
He
CTN.
loved Community Television Network. He watched everything I was on.
Of course.
But he also watched the other programs. You know, he loved Patience on the News. He loved Law on the Line, the Lighthouse Jubilees. He would call and say, okay, when are these shows going to be on? And he would watch right up until a week before he died. I sat and watched second act with him. He wanted to see it, and we got him in his chair, the woman who was helping, and the 3 of us watched it.
You've told me a number of people have expressed their condolences to you since he passed away, so he was well liked by a lot of people, and his obituary was the lead obituary that day. And
Yes, it was. The Press Herald called and wanted to interview me regarding my dad, and because he was so involved in the city. But he inherited that from his father, who was an alderman who represented Munjoy Hill back at the turn of the century. His mother, who was on boards, a board of Audubon, many things. They were very involved people, and they've sort of instilled that in us. My sister and brother and I have been very involved because of that.
he was a lovely man just in the short time that I got to know him. And I
Yeah.
appreciate his involvement and your
Yeah.
involvement, of course, in the station. And
Yeah.
it's sad to see him pass on,
Yeah.
but he
Well,
left a great legacy.
He did, and I'll miss him very much. And I know community television will, you know, and that was the last television program he watched.
No, that's great.
So,
Well, thanks, Leslie, for coming and sharing that. And
yeah.
sorry
thanks,
for your
Tom.
loss.
Thank you. What are you going to miss the most? You know?
Oh, I missed the area and everything anyway. I love it.
Yeah.
I love Portland. Portland's awful nice.